Hi, Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. So I will be like the first presenter for today. So I will talk about the order processing. The first one about the order processing that the customer they send the inquiry letter starting. The types of product I took is the shoes. For example, that I took is the one of the famous brand is Nike. So the special requirement for these shoes is they have a different type, which is like as we know is a low cut, mid cut, and the last one is a high cut. The type of the shoes for the customer will the type of the shoes that the customers will choose which for their own comfortable. So after that, the customer they will choose what the shoes that they want. So here's is the customer they decided to choose the medium cut of shoes with the limited color of the shoes is the navy blue. So and then the price quotation for these shoes is like 650 ringgit Malaysia. Then after the customer they send the inquiry letter stating they will continue with the next process is they propose the term of the sales by they using the letter of the credit, or they also can using other suitable method that they can use. After that, the seller will send a pro forma invoice as a reference whenever a buyer they is interested in purchasing or buying the shoes. So here shows that the total value of goods that the buyer could buy. So the buyer accept the deal and the order have been made. In addition, the seller they will send the commercial invoice as the final agreement. And the last step here in order processing is the documentation process for international logistics is they make a documentation preparation to send the shoes to the customer. So I would like to call for the next presenter is hanis Najwa binti Hisham.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, for me, I will talk about export clearance. What is export clearance? Export clearance can be well known as the act of complying with the export regulations of an exporting country. Who is responsible for the export clearance? We need to find out who is the person that have responsible for the export clearance, especially under the FCA. So, the person that must responsible for the export clearance is the seller. In all cases, the seller is responsible for export clearance only for arranging delivery of the goods alongside the vessel, while the buyer is responsible for arranging and paying costs of the carriage from the port to the place of the destination. The export clearance under the FCA is only the rule of choice for containerized goods where the buyer arranged for the main carriage. Okay, so now I will move to the main point about this presentation, which is the process flow of documentation based on the information from the report of micro. Export clearance. For this process flow, the exporter can use the freight forwarder, which is who is then books the cargo with a carrier. The job of the forwarder is not same like the CIIB, because they do not help the exporter to fulfill the regulations. The most important about the forwarder is usually the forwarder is well experienced with all the documentations, and that is the best source for all the current information. Next, the carrier will make a bill of lading when the exporter contract with a carrier. This is because bill of lading is one of the most important documents in the entire of the trade process and need to be discussed detail in the following section. This bill of lading will later transmitted electronically to the important. We also need to know that this export declaration also have been used in the other countries like US. Their export clearance maybe are not 100% same like us, but they are similar. These documents are well been prepared and are brought to the government agency and bank to tell the government what are being exported. The purpose of this document is they want to keep statistics on trade volumes, so they will apply for certificate of the origin and also letter of credit of the cargo. It is important because some countries need this document to approve their process based on their cargo origin, and because sometimes there are goods that are being controlled. From this point, we will know that the documents will send to the imported country via email. Last but not least, I want to tell that many countries require for the sanitary certificate, or also can be well known as hygiene or phytosanitary certificates. This certificate is to make sure either the food and live animals are free of disease. Besides that, I also want to talk about my last point before I end my presentation, which is about carnet. Carnet is a permission for cargo to import example goods for use when example goods are being imported, to avoid paying the duties. The sample of goods also sometimes can enter a country free of duties as long as they are being re-exported. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you to Hanis Najwa for your sharing. Hello and good morning to everyone, especially my beloved lecturer and friends. My name is zarith Sofea, so I'm here to talk about the shipment. Shipment is a process of transporting the cargo from the origin place to the customer's country. Shipment can only be made after the export permit been issued by government. The carrier is responsible to deliver the goods to the customer in good condition. They also carry responsible for any accident happen during the shipment, such as stolen goods. Certificate of origin used by the carrier after a proof of where the goods are from, so they can enter the international border smoothly. It also been used for backward logistics, especially if the goods fail to be delivered.
In every industry, there are defining moments. Events that set the world in a new direction. In logistics, we had one of those moments in the late 60s with the international standardization of the container. The ISO container. It radically changed the business forever, allowing goods to be seamlessly transported on land and on sea. Its impact on global trade and development is beyond comprehension. But still, it's not all sunshine. Here's the problem. The lack of transparency and high volatility in the containerized sea freight market leaves you, as a stakeholder, in the dark. Until now, it's been impossible to efficiently obtain proper market intelligence, we know. That's what made us think. What if we could access the massive amounts of data generated constantly throughout the whole industry, connect the dots for you, and turn it all into useful information? You would have facts. Facts to make smarter decisions. Such information has never been available before. Not until data. Imagine what it would be like to securely analyze your own data relative to the development in the market, defined by your needs at any time. Through a user-friendly interface, you will access the world's largest sea freight intelligence platform. We cover a vast number of trade lanes, rapidly increasing with every new company entering. Our comprehensive database is dynamically updated daily, sourced from companies all over the world, of all industries. But most importantly, you will see your own data in a completely new light. Introducing transparency on sea freight rates and quality of service is just the beginning. The industry is changing in favor of the ones who master the new tools of the trade, what we call actionable metrics.
Then, I'll pass to the next presenter, who is Husrina. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning to the lecturer, Madam Atika binti Abbas, and fellow friends. My name is Nurin PDL 2007118. Today, I will explain about the fourth phase in documentation flow. It is the import clearance. Import clearance are activities performed to retrieve the goods that already arrived at the customer's assigned location, whether they are in seaport, airport, train checkpoint, and others. After the goods being unloaded from the carrier, it needs to go through custom clearance procedures. During this time, Customs conduct multiple inspecting on the goods before providing certificates of inspection, considers the weight of goods, and other relevant information. Later, the info will be compared with the documents provided by the seller or exporter to ensure it matches. This helps to avoid fraud and detect any missing items. To provide better understanding on how customs work, I provide a video as reference. Customs also calculates the duty, tax, and rates that's supposed to be paid before the goods can be checked out or the item will be detained. Documents such as certificate of origin help to determine the value of duty charged for by pointing the origin country of the goods. Some countries do not need to pay for the duty as stated in free trade agreements, while documents like commercial invoice draw clear lines whether the goods imported can be taxed or not. After the process complete without any issues, customers can claim their items by presenting their documents.
The Customs Authority distinguishes between taxable goods and tax-free goods. Goods on board a ship that sails into Rotterdam are immediately classified as taxable goods. The customs inspectors take charge of these goods until they are assigned a new destination. The goods may be registered for import in the Netherlands. They are then subject to import duty, excise duty, and VAT. After the goods have been cleared, customs has nothing more to do with them. Goods that enter the Netherlands through an EU border point such as Rotterdam may be intended for a destination in the European hinterland. If so, a customs broker draws up a transit declaration to guarantee that all the taxes will be paid. The goods and the transit declaration may then be transported to Germany, where they are cleared. The taxes are paid in Germany, and the goods can then circulate freely. Goods that enter the country through an EU border point, but have no final destination as yet, may be issued with a transit declaration and stored in a customs warehouse. Where they remain under the supervision of the Customs Authority.
Storage in a customs warehouse has certain advantages. For example, if the goods are to leave the EU or if payment of import duty has to be postponed.
Assalamualaikum and good morning. My name is Afifah binti Muhammad Nazir from Group 5. So, our group has used the document about Certificate of Origin. This document widely used in international trade transactions, which attests that the product listed therein has met certain criteria to be considered as originating in a particular country. Without further ado, I will explain the last documentation flow, which is delivery. Delivery is existing when an order from importer is being met. For example, importer Nana has ordered the goods from exporter Kevin in Australia, and importer Nana has notified that the cargo has arrived at the port. This shows when the cargo has arrived, the importer will be notified to fetch the cargo. Then, the importer will send transporter to fetch the cargo. For example, importer Nana send the truck to pick up the cargo. Then, the truck will deliver the cargo at the right destination that has been informed. After the cargo arrives safely at the right destination, the importer will check the quality if the goods are in a good condition or not. When the importer has satisfied with the quality and the condition of the goods, then the customer will call the bank and release the payment. After delivery, the importer is still required to keep all records according to the standard of informed compliance. This is all for safetiness. I think that's all from me. Thank you.